Assalamu alaikum. In this lecture, we are going to look into the command line arguments. This is a follow-up of the previous lecture, and uh, the code that we will be using is more or less going to be the same, and we are going to discuss a few things regarding that code. First of all, are the command line arguments, which are extra input details that you can give to your program. And then secondly, what is a string? And then an array. Uh, can, right now, if you don't understand the concept of arrays, so it's not that difficult to get, and you shouldn't get worried about it. As we will move along, we will um have more descriptions of arrays as we move along. So if you don't get it at this point, you shouldn't worry. I will try to explain it as best as possible. So moving on, whenever you are running a program, normally you have written Java C my program.java. So the program has compiled, and you have a my program.class file. So now you write Java my program, and what it does is it executes whatever is within the program. So it executes the lines of code. So the lines of code um, they calculate data, they do addition, subtraction, or whatever you want the lines of code to do. And once that is done, you get some output. So in this sample program, I just in my program it just wrote a hello. I was printing the line hello on screen, and this is what it did. It did. Now, if I want to write the same program, but this time I pass it the name Umer as well. So I write Java my program Umer. So Umer is an extra, that is which in this case is my name, but this is an extra input that I'm giving to the program. And then again, the program will do its execution, but this time it will take Umer into account, and as a result I will have my code program Umer. I wrote that, and it says hello Umer. So that is going to be the output of the program if I give it the input Umer. I can give it any other input or a series of input. I can write like Ahmad, and then for example, I can write Java my program Umer, Ahmad, Salman. So it will probably write hello Umer Ahmad Salman. But that is how I will normally do it. But I can make it do different things depending on what name is passed to my program. So the question comes up, how does this code execute? So if you have noticed, you normally have a class. The class defines the program that you are running, and every program has this main function. So in this main function, whatever is within these braces, or you can call curly brackets, so whatever is between these curly brackets, that is what is going to be executed. So whenever you run the program, so the main function, it is always run first, and then anything within these braces is executed. So it can be 500 lines of code, it can be 2 lines of code, depending on what kind of program you have written. And then any extra information that you are giving to the program is passed over here. So whenever you write the name of the function, you write these parentheses. Okay. So in these parentheses, whatever you write, so in that case, I had written my program Umer. So Umer had gone into inside these parentheses. And whatever you pass, like in that case, I have passed Umer. So it's always accepted in this variable, which is called args or arguments. So this args is short for arguments. So whatever I write, so this name arguments, it accepts that value. So if I ever want to like make use of the information, I have to access the args variable in this case. A variable is a collection. So if you want to store something, you always store that in a variable. So a variable can store numbers, it can store names. In this case, we have a variable, and the type of that variable is string. In Java, a string means a series of characters. For example, over here we have a series of characters. So if I want to store the series of characters, I will store them in a string. Uh, so if I pass it, suppose I pass it one value. In that case, like in the previous example, I had passed Umair. So I can always access Umair by writing args 0. Okay, so with this index, it tells me like which argument I am referring to. So suppose if I write my program Umair and Ahmad, then in that case, Umair will be accessible by writing args 0, and Ahmad will be accessible by writing args 1. Just keep in mind whenever you pass a function some values, the index will always start 0. So the first value will be always be within the 0th index. The second value will always be within the first index, and so on. So now we are going to look into the code, and I will show you that how we can do this command line arguments with our program, and how it is useful in writing some interesting programs. Now we can see that in this greetings program, we have written the main function, which in this case is public static void main, uh, and and we have, as we discussed, we have the string arguments over here, and that is going to print out the arguments, whatever arguments which we are going to have. So now once we have this over here and we have completed a program, so what this program is going to do is going to first of all print hello, and then it's going to print whatever argument we have passed to this program. Okay, now we will run the code that we have written. You can see the code that it is on the left hand side, and over here you can see that for the first line I'm doing system.out.println, so I'm going to print line which is going to say hello, and then I'm going to write argument 0. So which means like if I write something, if I write suppose, um, okay, let me just first compile it. So I will write Java C and greetings dot Java, and this is going to compile the code for me. And then if I write Java and greetings, and I write Umair. And now you can see that Umair is the argument that I'm passing to this code. And what will happen that over here it will first of all it will say hello, and then after that it will put this line arguments args, like whatever I'm passing over here, it will go into the 0th index of this arguments. And so I'm going to write it like over here, and you can say that it can say it is saying hello, and then in the next line it is saying Umair. Now if I want this to be in the same line, I will need to make changes. I will need to, instead of print line, so whenever you write print line, it prints the line and goes to the next line. So I want to have a hello Umair in the same line. So I save this again, and then I will have to, since I have made the change, I will have to recompile it. So I write Java C greetings.java, and I can just write Java greetings Umair. Now, if you are asking like how I can type so fast, I'm not actually typing anything. If you can just press the up key on the keyboard, it just shows you all the anything that you have written before. So you can go through all the commands that you have written before, and you can reuse them. So now you can see that I have written hello Umair. So what is happening is that when I write something like greetings Java greetings Umair, so what is happening is that it takes Umair as a single argument or single data, and over here it's going to print the data out. And now I can also write greetings Umair, and I can write greetings as I was saying greetings Ahmad. So now it's over here is only going to write system.println arguments 0, and now if I want to print another argument, I will need to write plus and argument 1. Okay, now you can see that on the left hand side I've written hello and I've written argument 0 plus arguments 1. And uh, by writing this, what I'm doing, I'm writing hello and I will write Umair and then I will write arguments 1. And if I now, since I've done this, I have saved this file. Now I have to recompile it. So I will write Java C greetings.java and then I write greetings Umair Ahmad. And you can see like it writes hello Umair Ahmad and there's no space in between. So the thing is like this is happening because I'm passing Umair and Ahmed and I'm not giving any like it differentiates between these two arguments with a single space. So I can add another space and let's see what happens. And I press enter. So now again uh, it's going to like show both of these names together even though there's more spaces. So this tells us like whatever arguments you write over here, so it doesn't matter how many number of spaces you give, it will always take these two data point these two data as separate entities. So the problem that comes up is that okay, so now we have hello Umair Ahmad and it's all combined. If I want to have some space between these two, so that is very simple. I can just write that okay, write this name Umair and then to after this name I add a single space and then to that space I add the second argument. Now if I write this, so this will like write hello, give a space, then it will write the name Umair, and then it will add a space, and then it will write the name Ahmad. So now if I save this and I write this, like I've compiled it, and then I write greetings Umair Ahmad. So now it writes hello Umair Ahmad. Now there's a space in between. So you can see like I'm only manipulating like what is going to output and this is what it is doing. And now one thing you should be very careful is that this is the name of the variable, this is not the text itself. So if you write the name of the variable inside quotes, so the computer will not think of it as a separate variable, but it will say this line out instead of writing the name Umair. So you should be very careful when you're writing the arguments over here. You're using the arguments over here. So let me show you like what will happen. It will not give you an error, but what it will do is it will write a hello arg0 and then Ahmed. So now let me compile it. And now if I write Umar Ahmed, so you can see that it writes hello arg0 and Ahmed. So you should be very careful about these things. Now let's see like how you can make a mistake. Now suppose in Java you can see like whenever you write a line, it is always terminated by a semicolon. It is quite possible that you forget to remove that like put that semicolon over here, and then it will give you an error. So this is line number 6 and I remove the semicolon, I save it, and then I try to compile it. And you can see that it says greetings Java and 6 error. This is expected. So it's and it is showing me the line of code. So you can see that it's showing me the line of code and showing me like this is where the error has occurred. And it's showing me like oh, there's one error. There can be many multiple errors as well, but for the time being, it's showing just one error. And now, so based on this information, I can always add a semicolon over here. I save this, and then I give it Java C greetings, and then I write greetings Umair Ahmed. Now suppose I write greetings Umair, and then I press enter. So you can see that it says that hello exception in the hello. It just printed hello, and as it came to printing this line, it gave me this error exception third main uh, array index out of bounds exception, index 1 out of bounds for length 1. So what it is saying is that okay, the amount of arguments that I have passed are 2. uh, uh, Sorry, uh, you can see like I wrote Java greetings over here. So the amount of arguments that I have passed is 1, but in this code I am using 2 arguments. So I passed the value Umair, so that was supposed to be printed here. But then I'm asking for arguments number one, like the second argument, but I did not give any second argument over there. Now, since there was any not any there wasn't any argument, so the length of this array is going to be 1. Otherwise, it's going to be 2. So this error might occur like if you are passing only one argument, but the code is expecting two arguments. So if you make a mistake like this, so that will also generate an error. But the good thing is that you can always read the error, and that will let you know like what went wrong and where it went wrong. So I guess this was a very interesting little experiment, and I hope that you understood how the arguments work in this small example. If you have any questions, you can always approach me, and I will try to clear any queries that you have. So that's it about the current lecture, and I'll see you next time.